Rain postpones Monday's game against the Tigers, so instead, we'll take a look at the surprising Detroit Tigers. Considering their power ranking, are they really that much better than the Cardinals? We'll break it down on today's episode of Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Haffern, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou and a lifetime Cardinals fan, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter, X at JD Sports Radio. You can also follow the podcast at LO_Cardinals. Want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and we're also on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. That way you're interacting with us. Hit the notification button so you know when new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat, even when they get rained out. Today's episode being brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started. As Grammy award-winning artist Milli Vanilli once said, blame it on the rain. And yes, I know they were frauds. And sadly, one of them actually isn't even alive anymore, I don't think. I think one of them passed away. But doesn't make the name of that song untrue. Blame the rain for ruining our baseball fun on a Monday. Inclement weather forced the postponement of Monday's game. And instead, the Cardinals and Tigers are going to play a traditional doubleheader on Tuesday. The first pitch will be for game one at 2:40 St. Louis time. Then the teams will have 40 minutes between games, and then they'll fire things up for game two. According to Jason Beck, it is the fourth postponement and third doubleheader that the Tigers have faced so far this season. And it reflected a change in the forecast, though. There was a chance of rain looming on Monday. There had been some hope it might hold off long enough to allow the game to get in. That changed as the day went on and the storm system strengthened. The grounds crew moved in quickly to put the tarp on the field just as Tigers players were emerging from the dugout for batting practice. The game was then called shortly thereafter, bypassing a rain delay. Now, due to the scheduling change, our old friend Jack Flaherty, who was supposed to pitch in game two, which was supposed to be on Tuesday, is now going to start game one on Tuesday. Kenta Maeda, who was supposed to start on Monday, will now slide back to Wednesday. And there hasn't been an announcement on who will throw game two yet, at least at the time of me making this recording. But in their other two doubleheaders this season, the team has called up Matt Manning as their 27th player to make a spot starting game two. Manning is on turn to start on Tuesday for AAA Toledo at Columbus. So it would make sense that he would get the start. But again, I haven't seen any announcement just yet about who's going to make that start yet. Basically, the Tigers are just kind of making things way more difficult than they need to be. They got dudes moving all around and calling people up. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, they're just sticking with the game plan. Kyle Gibson set to go in game one, Steven Matz game two, and then Miles Michaelis on Wednesday in game three. The Tigers so far this year, 16-12. 16-12. That's right. They have been really good on the road, where they are 10-4, while at home they got a losing record of 6-8. Now the question is, have they had a tough schedule like the Cardinals have had so far? And again, I'm not trying to make excuses for why the Cardinals have a losing record. I'm just saying their strength of schedule has been pretty tough so far. We knew it was going to be tough in April. We were warned it was going to be tough in April. And if you go to powerrankingsguru.com, I didn't make that up, it's real. They have the strength of schedules so far this season. Like they keep it up to date, and it goes off of like the average opponent rank. So they've got their own rankings that they do. And then based off of that, they can tell you what they think the strength of schedule is for each and every team. According to them, and if I'm reading this right, the Cardinals have had the 8th toughest schedule in Major League Baseball so far. 8th toughest. Ahead of them, with tougher schedules so far, the toughest overall has been for the Tampa Bay Rays. Then it's the Washington Nationals, the Miami Marlins, Colorado Rockies, San Francisco Giants, Arizona Diamondbacks, Pittsburgh Pirates, and then the Cardinals. And what do you know? All of those teams ahead of them with tougher schedules also have losing records coming into Monday's game. Some things might have changed by now, but coming into Monday's game, Rays were 13-16. They did win tonight, so they bumped up to 14-16. They beat the Brewers 1-0 on a, I don't know, it's kind of an iffy play there in the final inning with the ball getting away and the follow through hitting the catcher in the helmet, but whatever. Nationals were 13-14. The Marlins 6-23. Rockies were 7-21. Giants 14-15. D-backs 13-16. Pirates 14-15. And then the Cardinals at 13-15. As for the Tigers, they are 17th in strength of schedule. They have faced the White Sox, the Mets, the A's, the Pirates, the Twins, the Rangers, the Rays, and the Royals. So you've got, going into tonight's games, 3 winning teams among the bunch, with the Mets and Rangers just 1 game over 500. The Royals were a winning team, and I don't think anybody else is. You know, the Mets and Rangers, like I said, 1 game over each coming into Monday. Meanwhile, the Cardinals have had to face the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Brewers, and the Mets. Dodgers are in first place. Brewers are in first place. The Phillies have 19 wins, which is tied for tops in baseball, but technically are not in first place. They are in second place in the NL East because the Braves have less losses. They played less games so far. So that's kind of a big deal. You know, when you're facing tougher teams and you're not supposed to be one of those top teams, which the Cardinals are not expected to be this year. We know that. Hence the record. So are the Tigers really that good? Are the Cardinals as bad as the losing record? Are they really that? Or are both of these teams just kind of middle-level teams? Let's see what the new power rankings have to say about that. We'll do it next on Locked On Cardinals. This Mother's Day, get something thoughtful for mom on DoorDash. Surprise her from wherever you are with fresh bouquets, the latest tech. You can do gift cards, self-care treats, and more to make her day that much better. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order right now on DoorDash. Pair flowers with a gift card so she can celebrate any way she wants. She wants to spend them on Cardinals tickets. You can do that. That's what my mom likes. She likes that, and she likes ball caps. So maybe I'll get her a gift card so she can go get herself some new Cardinals gear for the next time she's at a game. I know we're going to be celebrating my grandmother's 100th birthday at Busch Stadium this year, later on this summer. So that would work out for my mom. Maybe it'll work out for yours too. How about gift card to a bookstore or her favorite coffee shop? You really can't go wrong with DoorDash. Plus, you get the convenience of shopping on your phone, so you don't actually have to go out and be one of those people scrambling around trying to find a store and something in that store that your mom may or may not like. Not a great place to be. So order now and get everything you need for Mother's Day on DoorDash. It makes sense. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order now on DoorDash. That's Locked On MLB. Order using DoorDash today. Terms apply. And we've got no game tonight on Monday because of the rain, so why not pause to talk more about Monopoly Go instead? I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about that, but there is just so much good stuff in Monopoly Go. I mean, if you had fun playing the board game back in the day, you're gonna have fun playing Monopoly Go. I promise you that. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with your friends for time tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. And there's so much to get. They've got unique stickers. You can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes. Cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with. Hilarious emojis for taunting your friends. I mean, who doesn't like to talk a little bit of smack in every game that you play? So you got that going on when you smash their buildings and heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. It's a ton of stuff going on, including their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. It's real, it's there, and there's always new timed events that can help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it now for free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day and have to turn down the volume because of all the shouting? Then make the switch to Locked On Sports Today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis. We've got opinions, news, and it's all streaming 24/7 on YouTube, or you can go to that free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Leave your comments on YouTube as well as on Twitter, X, anytime you want. Your feedback, positive and negative, always welcome and encouraged. Do not be shy. Let your voice be heard. Right now on Twitter X, I got a poll up there because I'm trying to come up with a fun name for the back of the Cardinals bullpen. I'm trying to come up with a name there for JoJo, Kittredge, and Housley. What do you want to call them? So go check out that particular poll on Twitter X at LO_Cardinals and let your voice be heard. And if you don't like the names I got up there, write in a different one and let me know what you think. So we've had some interesting ones. Some of them are really, really goofy. But that's the fun of it, right? All right, new power rankings dropped today on Monday. And here's how things shake out. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to throw up the power rankings up on the screen there for you. So there it is. So we're not going to read all of them, but your top five, you've got number 1, the Braves, number 2, the Orioles, number 3, the Guardians. I know they got a good record, but really, are they better than the Dodgers and the Yankees who come in at 4 and 5? Hey, I voted on this. I did not have the Guardians at number 3, but other people did. Your bottom 5, you've got the Astros, which is still a shocker to me. I wouldn't be surprised if they come up a little bit later on in the season because that just doesn't make sense that they have as bad a record as they do. Then you got the A's, the White Sox, the Marlins, and the Rockies. All of those make sense. The Tigers come in at number 14, while the Cardinals are back at number 23, which is actually up because I believe they were number 25 last ranking. So we know the Cardinals have been playing better. They've been playing better lately. Got swept by the Brewers, and it was like the sky was falling, right? Even though 2 of those games were one-run games. That Saturday game where they just got blasted just put everybody in a terrible mood, and they didn't want to hear nothing from nobody about how the Cardinals were actually going to be a better team later on. But they get swept, and then they play better this week. They take 2 of 3 from both the Diamondbacks and the Mets. It's still a work in progress. We know that. Offense is still trying to figure things out. Starting pitching has been pretty darn good, especially since Sonny Gray has returned. But the offense continues to be, and pardon the pun here, but they've been hit or miss, right? Cardinals are currently tied for dead last in the major leagues in home runs with 18. The White Sox also have 18. And mind you, all of these stats coming into Monday's game. So some things might have changed, but coming into the games, this is where they sat. The Cardinals are 28th in runs right now. 28th in runs with 100, ahead of only the A's and the White Sox. They're 28th in hits with 198, again, ahead of only the A's and White Sox. Team batting average, 217, 28th. Once again, say it with me, ahead of the A's and the White Sox. On base percentage, they're 25th, way up there at 25. They're at 300 right now. That's ahead of the A's and the White Sox. And then the Marlins, the Mariners, and their opponents on Tuesday, the Tigers. Slugging, 28th at 336, ahead of only the Marlins and the White Sox. OPS, 27th at 636, ahead of the A's, Marlins, and White Sox. Total bases, 29th ahead of only the White Sox. I mean, just some ugly, ugly stats there, folks. Like, it's kind of disgusting when you say it out loud because we talk about the Cardinals, and I'm a fan of the team. You're a fan of the team. And you like to see things through the rosy red Cardinals colored glasses sometimes, don't we? And we like to think that maybe they're a little bit better than they really are. I'm definitely guilty of that. Like I tend to see things a little more positive than most people and a little more positive than what reality probably is. And at least I can admit that. And when I look at this team, I don't see a team that is only better than the A's and the White Sox. Just me personally. This offense seems like it's a lot better than just those two teams. But when you go and look at the stats, that's where they are. I've got some StatCast stuff here for you, too. I know we're really nerding out today because we don't have a game to talk about. Barrel percentage, 28 at 6%, ahead of only the White Sox. And this one's kind of interesting. The Guardians, not a very good barrel percentage. Hard hit percentage, they're 23rd at 37.3. Exit velocity, they're 12th. That's pretty good, 88.8. Not bad there. Expected batting average, 15th at 247. So when you look at that compared to the actual average, which is 217, it's a pretty big difference. So expected slugging percentage, 390. That's 18th. IRL, 336. So those last two stats kind of show you that maybe the Cardinals shouldn't be quite as low as they are, but still nothing to write home about. It's not like, oh my gosh, they're just getting robbed left and right. No, they just haven't been very good. And we, for the most part, think that things will get better and that they will turn around. You're starting to see it a little bit. You're starting to see Paul Goldschmidt hit a little bit better. You're starting to see Nolan Gorman hit a little bit better. So get guys like that going. Arenado continue to do what he's doing. He's getting better. Wilson Contreras has been great. Mason Wynn has been great. Jordan Walker, you had to sit him down, but he was a guy that was supposed to be really big part of this offense, and he hasn't done diddly poo for you, unfortunately. Hopefully he's going to get things straightened out at AAA Memphis. It's just been a lot of guys who just haven't lived up to what we thought they were going to do. And you know how they always say, you'll hear like Brad Thompson and Chip Carey say, the back of the baseball card doesn't lie. At the end of the day, they'll probably have their stats. Well, if that's the case, then great. And that means that they're going to have, 5 great months coming up, which is great news for the Cardinals. Or are they going to stay where they are and not turn it around? But, some of these guys have been doing it so long, and especially like a guy like Paul Goldschmidt, you expect him to have better numbers as he moves on, usually a slow starter. So pitching wise, they haven't been great. Okay. The back three in the bullpen have been outstanding. We know that. But the pitching has actually been what's kept them in a lot of these ball games so far. Team ERA 3.86, which is 13th in the league. So we're not talking like elite, but they're not like they were last year. Starters are at 4.21. That's 20th. While the relievers are at 3.49, which is 9th best. Now, you got to remember, too, you've got stats from like Zach Thompson, who was having a horrible time in the major leagues, which is going against some of these numbers. Opponents are hitting 237 off the bullpen. That's 15th best, while the starters' batting average against is at 264. That's 25th. Miles Michaelis has got a very high batting average against so far this year, so he's not helping the cause. Strikeouts as a team, Cardinals 18th with 236. Starters are 20th, while the pen has got the 10th most, so that's cool. Cardinals pitching is pretty good when it comes to walks, 84 of them so far. That's 22nd. Starters ranked 15th, while the pen, 3rd best. They've only walked 33 hitters so far this year, so you like to see that. The home run ball, I brought it up many times. That has been an issue. Relievers have given up 10, which is the 5th lowest amount in the major leagues, while the starters have served up 23. That's the 4th highest amount. Overall, 33 combined home runs that the pitching staff has given up. That's the 5th highest amount in the league. And you knew that was something that was probably going to happen. Michaelis, Lynn, Gibson, people hit home runs off of them. It happened last year. Obviously, with Lynn, it was like way blown out of proportion. He normally does not give up that many, but it's happened. These are guys that don't have a lot of swing and miss stuff. And when they miss spots, the ball goes a long way in the other direction. So it's bound to happen. But as you can see, the bullpen, they keep it in the yard for the most part. So what are the Tigers good and bad at? Let's talk about their opponent. Well, one guy who thankfully the Cardinals will not have to face in this series is their ace, Tariq Skubal. The former 9th round pick has really come into his own over the last couple of seasons. Last year, 7-3 in 15 starts at a 2.80 ERA. This year, already he's 4-0, 1.72 ERA in 6 starts. He's got an ERA plus of 2.37, which is just ridiculous. He's really freaking good. Only one other starter on the Tigers pitching staff has a win. Nobody else except one dude, former number 1 overall pick, Casey Mize, who has dealt with a bunch of injuries, so he isn't quite the guy that when they took him number 1 overall, he hasn't quite shown that kind of stuff at the major league level just yet. He's still a young man, but he's got a win. And nobody else from the starting rotation has got one. Jack Flaherty, old friend Jack Flaherty, he's 0-1 with a 4.91 ERA in 5 starts. Kenta Maeda, 0-1, 5.96 ERA in 5 starts. Those are the 2 guys that the Cardinals will be facing on Tuesday. Reese Olson is 0-4, 3.18 ERA in 4 starts. Let me backtrack for a second. Maeda is now on Wednesday. My apologies. Going to be on Wednesday. Matt Manning, 0-1, 2.92 ERA in 2 starts. Their combined team RA, like when you look at those numbers too, because you got the really good numbers from Skubal, and then you've got not so great from Flaherty and Maeda, but Reese Olson not bad, Manning not bad, Casey Mize hasn't been brutal. Their combined team ERA is 4th in the league at 3.14. The starters are at 7th at 3.53, but that bullpen, really, really good. Their bullpen has got a 2.71 ERA, which is 5th in Major League Baseball. The Tigers pitching staff leads the league in batting average against at just 211. Starters are 6th, but the pen is number 1 with a 190 batting average against. So you don't want to be in the bullpen. You want to take advantage of these starters, and the fact that you don't have to face Skubal makes things all that much better. Their closer is a guy by the name of Jason Foley. 7 career saves coming into 2024. He already has 9 this year. And he's not exactly a huge strikeout guy. He's not like Helsley, who comes in and he relies on the strikeout, but he's very effective. He still throws 97, 98, which seems like everybody does these days anyway. He's got a sinker. He's got a 4-seam fastball. He's also got a slider. He'll sometimes dabble with a changeup, but mainly he's a 3-pitch guy. But he has been really, really good over the last couple of seasons and has been really on his game so far here in 2024. So you don't want to get to the bullpen against the Tigers because they've been kind of like where the Cardinals are, where those back 3 guys have just been outstanding. So yeah, the Cardinals don't face the ace. That's great. Skubal, but good pitching against the Cardinals' sputtering offense. Not exactly a great matchup. Now, offensively, the Tigers are 24th in hitting. They're batting just 223, which is 24th in hitting at 223. They're 26th in OBP, 25th in slugging, 25th in OPS. They're 25th in home runs. So it's not like they're hitting a whole lot of those either. Only 23. So, the Cardinals only got 18. Tigers only got 23. 10th highest in strikeouts. Cards are actually doing a lot better in that category. Remember, they were way up there in the strikeouts early on. They're now 14th in the league in strikeouts, while the Tigers are in 10th. Neither team runs very much. Tigers have 14 steals. The Cardinals have just 12. So when you look at this matchup over the next 2 days, these teams are actually very similar. Good starting pitching, not great, because neither of the aces are going to go in the series, but very good bullpens and not a whole lot of offense to speak of. So we could see some very low scoring games over the next 2 days. A lot of 3-2s, 4-3s, 2-1s. That might be what we're looking at. Offensively, Kerry Carpenter leads the Tigers in hitting at 276. Mark Canha and Riley Green are tops in dingers with just 5. Canha leads in RBIs with 15. You guys remember Javi Baez? Remember him? One of the young stars on those Cubs teams that were really good, as painful as that is to say. Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Kyle Schwarber, Wilson Contreras, among others, all on those teams. And he was one of their main guys, like was going to be a future superstar in the league. He was on the cover of MLB The Show. And in 2022, the Tigers gave him a 6-year, $140 million contract. Remember, the Cubs traded him, goes to the Mets, was really good in New York, and then he goes to Detroit, and things have not gone well ever since. And I wonder if it has to do with he's not in one of those big markets anymore. I mean, Detroit's a big market in general. Like, there's a lot of people that live there, but like he's not in New York or Chicago or like in LA or something like that. Like, he is just, if the lights are brighter, he's probably better. but not quite as bright when you're playing for the Detroit Tigers, and his numbers show it. 2022, hit 238, 17 home runs, 67 ribbies. His OBP was 278, his OPS plus 91. Now remember, 100 is league average. 2023, Javi Baez, 222, 9 home runs, 59 RBIs, OBP 267, OPS plus of 62. So far in 2024, he's hitting 193, 1 home run, 9 RBIs, an OBP of 233, his OPS plus 46. He's making $25 million this year. It's guys like this. When we get mad because John Mozeliak and the Cardinals won't give out a big contract to somebody, it's because of guys like this. This is why he's gun shy about long deals. So let's hope that Javi Baez remains comatose for the rest of this series and doesn't get those old Cub juices flowing again when he sees the Cardinals come to town. The Cardinals do have a couple of other former Cardinals on their team. The Tigers do. I think I said Cardinals. Cardinals are. The Tigers have a couple of other former Cardinals on their team. Jack Flaherty, who we mentioned, Shelby Miller is there, and Carson Kelly. So 3 former top prospects in the Cardinals organization now playing for the Detroit Tigers. They've also got former number 1 overall pick. We mentioned Casey Mize, but also Spencer Torkelson. But he's been horrible so far this year. 214, no home runs, 10 RBIs. So let's just let these guys continue sleeping, shall we? All right. Let's be quiet. Let's not wake up their offense. Let's get in, get the hell out with at least 2 wins, you know? All right, we're going to take a look at some injury updates next, including some very good news about Dylan Carlson coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball's in full swing, obviously, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every single game as long as they're not rained out. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets. That's guaranteed. Guaranteed. $150, win or lose. You could make the dumbest bet known to man or woman or anything. Aliens, I don't care what it is. It could be the dumbest thing you've ever put money on. And you'll still get the $150 in bonus bets when you lose that bet. So, like, I have a buddy who goes on FanDuel, and he's got this reverse jinx things going. Like, he was like, you know what? I'm betting against the A's and the White Sox the rest of the year, and I'm going to see how I end up. And as soon as he does that, the White Sox go on a 3-game winning streak and sweep the Rays. The A's started playing better. He's just the reverse jinx. But because he made those bets and he lost, he still gets the $150 in bonus bets. That's a guarantee. So bet on everything from slap shots. You want to talk Stanley Cup playoffs. You want to talk slam dunks in the NBA playoffs. But of course, home runs, strikeouts, the baseball podcast. All of this is on an app that is safe and secure and easy to use. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. It's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. It's Locked On Sports Today, here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. So find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. Dylan Carlson, boy, do we miss him. Dylan Carlson is going to begin his rehab assignment with AAA Memphis on Tuesday. Love it. Love it. Finally, this was confirmed by manager Ali Marmol. Also added that Carlson will appear as a DH for that game. So he's not going to play the field, but he's getting in live action, and he's swinging a bat. And this is great news for the Cardinals, who have been missing him ever since he went down. What was that? March 25th, collided with Jordan Walker, who is now his teammate at Memphis right now. Fell hard on that left shoulder. And when it happened, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I was so mad. MRI that night revealed a sprain to the AC joint in the shoulder. And that's when they brought up Victor Scott II and said, you know what? We're going to bring him up. We're going to play him. He's not going to just sit on the bench on this team. He's going to start. But he struggled. Not so much defensively. He had the one bad game. But other than that, but offensively, man, just could not get anything going. Went 5 for 59 in 29 games. That's an 85 batting average, people. 85. Before getting optioned to Memphis on April the 21st. Now, Who's been in center field since? Michael Ciani. Outstanding defensively, right? Pretty much every game he starts, he's diving and making some great play. You know, he's been amazing in center field. Has done quite well in sacrifice bunt situations as well. His bunting ability is very, very good. I made the joke yesterday on Twitter X that he should just bunt every time. No matter what the situation is, just bunt. Just bunt. At least you put it in play. But coming into the season, we were told that he was not a very good hitter. And so far, that scouting report has been dead on. Ciani is hitting 108 so far this year. He is 4 for 37, 1 extra base hit, 1 RBI, 2 stolen bases. His OPS plus is 14. Let me just put this out there for you. You ready for a goofy stat? 4 for 37, so he's got 4 hits, right? He's got 5 sacrifice hits or bunts. He has 4 real hits, 5 sacrifice hits or bunts. Just think about that for a moment. So all in all, between Ciani and Victor Scott II, those two guys, 9 for 96 this year. That's a 92 batting average coming from your center fielders. 92. Now, we have to assume that Dylan Carlson will be better than that offensively. He sure looked like it in spring training. Will he be as good as Ciani or Victor in the field? Probably not. Ciani is much quicker and faster, so is Victor. But the Cardinals are getting almost nothing out of that number 9 spot in their order. It's just a black hole right now. So, and that's not helping their struggling offense any, where you're basically hitting with 8 dudes. Not good. Not good at all. So, sooner the better when it comes to Dylan Carlson. The other guy that was supposed to be the starting center fielder this year, Tommy Edman. Remember him? Switch hitter. Yet to fully go through baseball activities after undergoing wrist surgery back in October, but he has progressed, taken swings from both sides of the plate, but he's doing it off a tee. So far, no issues. Remember, he had to stop the rehab because of lingering pain and swelling, and we all got nervous. I know I did, that maybe he'd have to go back under the knife, that things didn't quite go the way they needed to. But Ollie said this time around, he's been good. He's recovering really well. It's a direct quote. So that's great to hear. They still have late May as a timetable for his return. So we'll see if they actually make that. Matt Carpenter has been out since April 2nd, and Ollie said he was feeling really good after taking live batting practice on Monday. He'll repeat that activity on Tuesday, and then Ollie said the club will start to figure out what a rehab assignment will look like for the 38-year-old. And Keenan Middleton, a guy that was supposed to be a big part of this bullpen. Luckily, the team has been all right without him out there in the bullpen. Scheduled to throw off the mound on Monday. It's not a simulation. The catcher was going to be standing up, so Ollie called it a mound catch. They just want to get him used to throwing off a mound since he's been throwing off flat ground for so long now. But he's progressing. There was a time where we thought maybe he ain't going to be around this year because of the issue he was having. Maybe he'd have to have surgery, but so far, on the way back. Next step for Middleton, who hasn't pitched since March 7th, will be a bullpen session. So fingers crossed that we get more good news from him. And nothing new to report on Riley O'Brien yet. It's been very radio silent on that, although at the time they said no structural damage in that elbow. He's just got a strain. They're taking their time with him. Again, bullpen's been good, so it's not like you got to rush these guys back. Let them take their time. Things are okay out in the bullpen thus far for the St. Louis Cardinals. All right, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on Twitter, X at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Like and subscribe on YouTube. You're the best fans in baseball for a reason, and we will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.